Right, 29 March 2024, and today is part of the Easter holidays, so it's a Friday, and today I want to go through quite a number of stories. So I need to do this methodically because I've got so much to go through, and I will need your assistance with the questions later on so that I don't miss most of the stories that I want to go through here. So I want to start with what's happening in Zimbabwe. And currently, as I said, we're at a critical moment. And when I say critical moment, I mean we're at the point where the Mnangagwa government is facing collapse. So I'm not saying this lightly, and don't take this lightly. Mnangagwa is now on the verge of being out of office. So this is going to happen within the next 30 days. Mnangagwa is going to be out of office within the next 30 days. But he is trying his best not to be out of office. So let's look at what has happened. And I want to start with the military changes. Then I will go to the changes at the Reserve Bank. And I'll go to what is happening in the Mnangagwa homestead or the Mnangagwa household. So Mkoma MS, you will forgive me. You are my best man. And eventually I want to involve you in my business because you've been supporting me for a very long time. And let's start with the military changes. So the military changes that happened yesterday are to do with the mechanized brigade. And they've changed the command there at the mechanized brigade. And as you know, the mechanized brigade played a key role during the removal of Mugabe with Gwekwerere, who was in charge there. I think it was a colonel at that point. So they removed, the removal of Mugabe was actually overseen by the mechanized brigade. So I do not know who's making the changes, if it's Mnangagwa or if someone else. But let's look at the video of the actual change that happened yesterday. And I want us to then go deeper into what is happening. But let's start with looking at the video of the actual change that happened yesterday, which was presided over by General Ncube.
Undertook community assistance project in the tactical area of responsibility in tandem with the Zimbabwe National Army's secondary role of providing military assistance to civil communities. Such activities remain crucial in cementing the already existing cordial relations between the brigade and its surrounding communities.
Commander Zimbabwe National Army, sir, once again, I want to thank you most sincerely for affording me this prestigious chance to command mechanized brigade. I will not betray your trust and promise to perform to the best of my abilities at all times.
The people of Zimbabwe have high hopes and expectations for a better future, and as the Zimbabwe National Army, we should ensure that the conducive and the tranquil environment prevails.
Right, so I hope you're hearing that clearly. And I want to unpack it for you. Obviously, as usual, when someone is speaking, you must listen very, very carefully. The guy who's going out is Themba Bvunzai Mlambo. He is expressing his grievances. You can hear that he's expressing his grievances. He's talking about his achievements, and he's talking about things that should have been done. The same as General Elson Moyo. When he left, I explained to you what was happening. The guy who's coming in is swearing his allegiance to General Ncube. You can see that he's talking in first person. He's saying I. And General Ncube himself is talking about political issues. So you must understand what is happening here. General Ncube is talking about political issues. He's not talking about military issues. He's talking about what is happening in the country. So I hope that you'll be able to replay that video, and I'll play for you at the end. You must listen very carefully when someone is speaking. These guys there is something bigger at play. And let's look at what is the implication of this. The changes that have been happening in the military, the question you should ask yourself is, who is making those changes? Why are those changes being made? And why now? So it's very important for you to understand where we are. We are at a critical moment where guys in the military are very unhappy with Mnangagwa and his third term bid. No one wants that third term bid. But who is there who can take over? That is the question that you should ask. Who can take over from Mnangagwa? Is it General Chiwenga? Is it Valerio? Is it who can take over? Who is acceptable to the military? That is very important. Mnangagwa is finished. He is failed to run this economy, and he's not going to be able to run it. What happened yesterday at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, as I explained to you, the Mnangagwa government is not capable of making the change to the currency. Everything is going to collapse very, very soon. Within the next 30 days, Mnangagwa's government is going to collapse because of the currency. The currency in Zimbabwe has collapsed to such an extent that there is no more money in the system. So when I say there's no more money, is right now, if you ask Mthuli Ncube where he's going to get money for his next bills, he's going to have to wait for inflows. There is no money which is a saving in the Zimbabwe government. And the reason why they had to fire Mangundgya was fired, is because Mangundgya has got no plan. And I've been saying this for over 2 years, that Mangundgya is the wrong person at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. Also, Mnangagwa is trying to impose his ideas on the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. So there's a clash. Specifically, if you go to the newspaper, they've made a revelation there that Mnangagwa made an announcement about a structured currency, but the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe was not aware about that plan. So Kuda and Ted, they made a plan, and they did not inform the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, which is why John Mangudya could not produce the monetary policy statement, because there was not going to be a structured currency. There is no plan at the moment. And the Zimbabwe dollar is now crashing by 100% a week. So what you're seeing right now, the small figures that you're selling, at one is 30,000, one is 40,000. If you mark another month, you are going to be selling it 1 is to 100,000 or 1 is to 200,000 within a month, and it will accelerate to a point where you're going to be selling it 1 is to billion. Mark my word, as I'm saying to you this, the acceleration is going to be so bad of the collapse, because there's no money in the system. Mnangagwa has got no money in the system, and Mthuli is, I said to you that Mthuli was not feeling well. I want to show you how sweaty Mthuli Ncube, and this is a side track. I get side track sometimes. So let me show you how sweaty Mthuli Ncube is. This guy is not feeling well. So check it out.
The other strategy has been for example, the IMTT tax, which again we believe has gone a long way in formalizing some of the businesses that were not paying their taxes.
So I've been very concerned about Mthuli Ncube. He is not on top of his game. I saw this when he was in the Vic Force, that something's wrong with Mthuli Ncube. His body shape has totally changed. And I think that's one of the reasons why Kuda Mnangagwa has had to step up. So check out the picture when he was at Vic Force. He is not the Mthuli Ncube that you know. Something is not well with Mthuli Ncube. He's not in charge of this whole situation. And that is besides the point. The actual point is that Mnangagwa and the guys that is put around the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they've got no clue. Even Mshayavanu, the new guy, he's got no clue. Mshayavanu is going to struggle because he does not bring a transformative agenda to the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. What the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe needs is a transformation, or a transformational turnaround style. And let me explain to you what I mean. The problem in Zimbabwe is the currency, number one. Failure to formalize the market. So when I say failure to formalize the market, is everything is being done on the black market by Mnangagwa and the cartels. So these guys are working together. So if you don't remove the cartels in Mnangagwa, then you are not going to be able to fix anything. Then thirdly, we've got a production problem. So there's no production taking place in Zimbabwe. There is no local production. So right now we're running out of cement, we have to import. We're running out of tires, we have to import. We're importing cars, we're importing food. Everything in Zimbabwe is important. Is imported. So we've got a production problem. If you go into any Zimbabwean households, 9 out of 10 products in that house is bought from outside the country, including the maize that they eat. So there's a very big problem, and Mnangagwa is not capable. Mnangagwa also believes in family. So what happened this week is alarming. The wife of Mnangagwa, I almost said Priscilla. Okay, no. All right. The wife of Mnangagwa, right? There she is. She was sitting at the Politburo meeting of ZANU-PF. This is the Central Committee meeting of ZANU-PF. So inside the ZANU-PF leadership, you now have right at the center of power, all the Mnangagwa family. And this is alarming to the military. The military guys don't like what they're seeing. These guys are going all over the place and they've got no clue, all of them. I want to show you what Tongai did yesterday. If you listen to these guys, you can see that they do not have an idea what they're doing. So let me show you Tongai, what he said yesterday.
We've got countries like Italy, France, and China. People travel to those countries just for the food. We can do the same for Zimbabwe.
Right, so you've got Tongai, you've got Patrick, you've got Kuda, you've got the other guy, the military, and then you've got young Emerson. These guys, and then you've got the mother, obviously, Auxillia. She is now in the Politburo, sitting in the center of the office. If you look at all this team, and this is what is making the military very uncomfortable, and that is why things don't work. Things don't work because if you're a family, you translate what you do at home to the office, and that won't work. This is a major problem that we have in Zimbabwe. The government of Zimbabwe is not functional. It's not a functional government. And right now, the government of Mnangagwa has collapsed. And as I said to you, all his projects are not being completed. There is not a single project, including the Geopomona. They were showing the Geopomona yesterday with Mkoma now. They were showing the Geopomona. It's not complete. It's just a piece of land where they walk around and show everyone the whole day. They show, we're doing Geopomona, we're doing this, we're doing that, but nothing's finished. And they give incomplete solutions. So the solutions that they give you are always going to be incomplete. Kuda Mnangagwa is taken over the finance ministry. He tweets. If you go to the Twitter of the Minister of Finance, you see that he tweets there things that are not solutions, that are not policies, that are not actionable. So the whole government of Zimbabwe right now is a mishmash, a bunch of confusion, and everything is falling apart. And I'm not being alarmist here. I'm explaining exactly what is happening. It's an extremely volatile situation that is happening here and that we're watching in Zimbabwe. I now want to, I obviously want to dwell a little bit more on the Reserve Bank. So John Mangudya was supposed to leave end of April. So on 1st May, Mshayabano was supposed to start. So they've moved that forward. Mshayabano is now going to start. He started yesterday. And what is going to happen is next week, they're going to deliver the monetary policy statement. And this monetary policy statement is going to be important because first, if we don't see the removal of the Zimbabwe dollar, and we don't see the removal of either Mthuli Ncube or Kuda, those two, one of them has to go. So we can't have the setup that is there. We need solid people in the Ministry of Finance. So if we don't see the removal of those two, then Mnangagwa is very strong and he's going to be able to push his policies. But if the military guys are strong, you're going to see the removal of Mthuli, you're going to see the removal of Kuda. And most likely, Mshayabano is going to get in there, but Mshayabano is not the right person to run the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. I can see it looking at him. He's from FBC. He's basically coming from Tagure's banks, and he's not the right person to run the Reserve Bank. The kind of person that you want to run the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is someone with international experience, someone coming out of the IMF, coming out of the World Bank. Those are the kind of people that you need. It's like trying to run a media house. Jennifer, who are running Ministry of Information. You compare Jennifer with Gambakwe, that won't work. So that is the kind of thing that I'm explaining. Mshayabano is like Jennifer, and the guy you need is like Gambakwe, the guy who knows internationally, who knows more than the general staff. Because you got a problem at a leadership level at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. You got a problem at the governor level, you've got a problem at the deputy governor level, and then you've got a problem at the SEO level, the state-owned enterprises level, and then you've got a problem at the police level, Mthuli, that side, there are problems. Today I'm going to come back in the evening and I'll show you what has happened to Empower Bank. They've released their results and I'm going to unpack them for you very, very quickly so that you can see what is wrong with the Zimbabwe setup. The whole system is a mess. And Empower Bank, Kuda Mnangagwa as board members. So the setup which Mnangagwa is put in place, it will never work. They will have to remove the whole system for things to work, because Mnangagwa is setting up a dynasty, but the whole dynasty is incompetent. I've shown you Kuda Mnangagwa, how incompetent he is. He's not incompetent. He's a young man. I think he just doesn't know. So if I want to play you back that video of Kuda when he's at the military there, what he said. It's impossible to understand what he's thinking. And he's the one who's in charge right now. So if you look at what Kuda is saying, you get very confused.
David Kuda Mnangagwa addressed students at the Zimbabwe Staff College in Harare this Thursday on macroeconomic stabilisation policies in line with the Vision 2030.
What we did was go through a journey starting from the TSP, that was 2018 to 2020, NDS1 2021 to 2025, and then NDS2, which will be coming 2026 to 2030. I think the whole idea is to understand where we came from, where we are now, and where we're going, and the objectives of what we're trying to achieve, and the policies that are anchoring that. You'd want to make sure that as you move along, your policies continue to be aligned to national ideology and the vision that is there. And the problems that we're facing are not a government problem, they're not a private sector problem, they're not a citizenry problem. I think there's a Zimbabwean problem. And the best way to approach them is together, which means continuous engagements, consultations, and making sure that even in critique, we do that in a positive way.
Right, so you can clearly see that we've got a very big problem. Kuda is in charge of the finance ministry, and he does not understand what's happening. He does not understand the problem, and then he does not understand the solution. We've got a lot of problems with family members in the government, and then we've got a lot of problems generally at the Reserve Bank with poor management. Mangundgya was the worst Reserve Bank manager you can ever find. And the new guy who's coming, John Shaban, is not up to the task. He's not able to make the necessary changes that you require at the Reserve Bank. The Reserve Bank right now of Zimbabwe needs a transformational agenda, and he's not going to be able to do it. So I think I've covered this properly and adequately. Kind of minimal questions you can ask me, but the important thing is that there's been changes in the military, and those changes are related to what happened during the coup. Gwekwerere was replaced during that time by Themba Bvunzai Mlambo, colonel or commander, and then right now Mlambo has been replaced by Brigadier General Josphat Kadumba. And this is happening at a time when the generals are making political statements. So Sanyatwe has made a political statement. I'm going to play for you again. They are making a political statement about the general well-being of Zimbabwe. So as far as I'm concerned, the generals are very, very concerned about what's happening around the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, the economy, and generally around the leadership style of Mnangagwa, where he packs key positions with members of his family who are incompetent and unable to achieve anything. And Mnangagwa's project is not finishing. You saw Chiwenga had to go and push that project last week. And then I've been covering this. It's not something that I need to repeat here, but we have a serious problem around here. Now let's go to the news. Let's quickly go to the news. And as I said, we'll see who is stronger between Chiwenga, the army, and Mnangagwa, because I don't believe that Chiwenga is totally in control of the army. I believe that there are other people who are stronger than Chiwenga. I don't think Chiwenga is the one that is pushing this agenda. I believe that the military guys are actually strong by themselves without a political figure. So within the military structures, I believe that they are very strong over there, and they've got their own strategy, which does not include people like Chiwenga. I don't think Chiwenga sits there and strategizes with the guys in the military. I believe that within the military structures, there are guys who are fed up of this current system. I then want to go to what has happened, and this is to do with a SADC. One soldier has died yesterday, and that soldier died by himself. He was sick. He was not killed by the in Mozambique. He was not killed by the insurgents. Then Mnangagwa is going to be at Mbungo, and I told him, "Koma wangu MS Kuti, I'll show you Mnangagwa begging Chiwenga to to accompany him." So let me show you Mnangagwa saying
I
that.
will be attending the Easter gathering organized by the Zion Christian Church in Masvingo, ZCC. I would wish that some of you who are free and are Christian can join me there.
Right, so Mkoma MS Mzazoramba, ED is using Chiwenga for cover. I hope that this whole situation is resolved. We've got a serious problem, and it's coming to a head. This particular month, everything is coming to a head, and this needs to be solved. The reason why this needs to be solved is because we have an economic problem that is affecting people's lives. There are people that are not eating right now as you speak. Last night, some people didn't eat food. They went to bed without eating. We have reached an economic crisis which is of an emergency proportion. Before the election, I said that Mnangagwa must declare a state of emergency because of the situation to do with the economy. Right now, someone else will have to declare a state of emergency. The situation is so bad that people are going to bed hungry, and it's not working. And Mnangagwa still believes that everything can be solved. But I do not believe that everything can be solved. I believe that we're at a critical moment. And I believe that the solution that is eventually going to come here is not a political solution. And it's coming very, very soon. People are fed up. The wrong people are fed up about this whole situation. And then I want to look at what is happening in South Africa. President Zuma is not being allowed to contest as an MP. So if you are not an MP and you're not in parliament, you cannot be nominated to be president. So that is what people thought was going to happen. President Zuma was going to come back as president. He's very popular here in South Africa. And if you mess with Zuma, you do a very bad mistake here in South Africa, especially in KZN. So let's see what's happening with the ANC over there. It's going to look very, very bad for the ANC. They'll probably lose their majority, and we're going to see a lot of instability down here. Prices are crazy in South Africa, like the prices of items. You've never seen such prices before. So like something that used to cost $10 in January last year is currently now costing 3 or 4 times more. So inflation of South Africa is very, very high, but obviously you can't compare it to Zimbabwe. The unemployment rate in South Africa is very high, and the tourism inflows are very, very low. The Department of Home Affairs is a mess here in South Africa. They've got the Dudula approach to tourism, and it's creating all sorts of crazy situations. Here in Cape Town, you're now starting to see houses at the 100 million rands level. Did you hear the number? 100 million. There are now houses that cost that much now. I was looking at one last week. Not that I wanted to buy it, but it was just passing there. And if you see that happening, it's going to flow down to the normal people. And people are struggling. There's a lot of struggling people in South Africa. So this election is going to be critical. And that is very, very important. Then there was an accident last night. 45 people from Botswana died in Limpopo. The bus driver missed the bridge. They fell into the bridge. 45 people died. Only one survivor, an 8-year-old girl, has been rushed to hospital. I hope she's fine. And in terms of the constitution of Zimbabwe, there is an attempt to amend that constitution. We've said it. You can go and look at the opinion by Hopo. I've given my opinion on it last week. And Hopo has given another opinion, which is in addition to say the Zimbabwe government is trying to make sure that the next president of Zimbabwe is not elected directly, but is selected by the party, which has got the most seats. And this would be more suitable for someone like Chiwenga. If Chiwenga was to get in, he would love this kind of amendment. So these amendments are not just good for Mnangagwa, they're also good for the guys who are coming in ZANU-PF, because they'll just make sure that they get more MPs, and then they'll get the president. Currently, if they were to extend to 2030, it means the next president will be a ZANU-PF president, and Chamisa will stand no chance. So I'm still yet to see what Chamisa is planning. What is he planning to do? Chamisa has tweeted, and I look at Chamisa's tweets all the time, and My heart, my vision, and mandate is to radically transform Zimbabwe into a fully developed and advanced modern nation. This is so that the citizen can live in a democratic and great republic that is more diverse, united, safe, free, just, tolerant, peaceful, and sustainably prosperous. Good ideas, Chamisa, but you need a team, you need a plan, and you need to get rid of ZANU-PF. So those are the three things that Chamisa needs. He needs a plan, he needs a team, he needs to get rid of ZANU-PF. Very, very tall task, a tall order for Nelson Chamisa, and we'll see what he's going to do about it. Then Second Lady, Minotabo Baloyi, is going to be presenting today. She's going to be at, I always miss this place. It's in Chechu Avenue, Alex Park. And the ticket is $50. You can look at the numbers on the screen and you can go there and see Second Lady Minotabo Baloyi. She's doing something very different. And what I like about her is she doesn't go to the things that Auxillia is doing. Like, remember, still like talk to the hand. She does that. She doesn't go the way Auxillia is doing a cooking with Barbara. So they don't. She doesn't follow the first lady around. Unlike what Mnangagwa is doing, is following. Is bringing Chiwenga everywhere he goes. Then let's look at the death here. Sorry, this is not a death. This Job Scholar tweet. There's a song here by Mo for a tribute to Mo Blessing Ali. You can go and look at it on Twitter. Then there is a death. One of the big artists from Anagringo and all that. She has passed away, Stella January. And I've got a few other things here. The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange is being used as a hedge. And unfortunately, our website is down. Someone has hacked us again. So I need to fix this. But someone has brought us down over the past 2 days. We've not been able to come up from the host side, not from our side. So I want to find out what's going on. But this is the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. And what I've realized here is that the growth is very little. There's very small growth. So what people are doing, they're using the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange as a hedge. They're not using it to grow. So there's no growth. It's like 10% and all the small amounts. So they're using it for hedging against the Zimbabwe dollar. And the companies that are there include Zimplow, that I was showing about, National Foods, the big companies, the banks, the Net Bank, they're operating from there. But the real solution that is needed is at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And obviously, you have to transform Mnangagwa's government. Mnangagwa's government is a mess. Mnangagwa Aruguraiva Nenzara. Mnangagwa is currently the biggest stumbling block into any change that you can get in Zimbabwe. You cannot make any change. And you understand the way I'm talking to you right now. I got a call a few days ago from a few guys in ZANU-PF. They're saying, Gambakwa, are you an activist or are you a media person? And I want to explain to you, because all of you are here now, and 25,000 and 30,000 of you are going to be here later. What we need to build in Zimbabwe is competence. So the young people that we have now. So when I talk of young people, I'm talking about Gambakwe, who is 47 years old. Then I talk about Tichingono, who is 53 years old. Mkoma Wangu, I saw you were celebrating a birthday. Chamisa, I think is 46. So we have young people in this crew, Yatinayo, the younger guys. You need to take over. So I'm going to be in media. Trevor Ncube has been running media and is going to be gone. There's going to be Gambakwe there. We've got guys who are going to be in politics who are young. We've got guys who are going to be in the Reserve Bank, in economics, who are young. If you don't take responsibility for this situation, it's going to be very, very bad. We need young people that are very, very strong, who are able to articulate the situation in Zimbabwe. And the situation in Zimbabwe is not caused by anyone else. It's caused by ED and these poor policies. And the guys in the military, right now, they are the ones that are dealing with it. And I can assure you that this is being dealt with from a military perspective. This has become a national emergency. The current situation we're watching right now has become a national emergency. People are helpless. The general public in Zimbabwe is helpless. So we are going to see kuti solution ishabuda from areas that you don't expect. So you should look for a solution. It's going to come, but it's not going to come from the general people. Then we've got this young lady here. She's been acquitted for abusing the wife of lover. So she's called Beauty Tembeni. She's the senior school sports coach at Chisipite Senior School. Last week, it was reported that she sent a video of herself and Tawanda Zigora to Loveland Zigora's daughter, and she was acquitted. This is in the H Metro newspaper. You must go and look at the H Metro newspaper, one of the best newspapers right now. They're doing a great job in entertainment. And in terms of the women, the young women from Mazbaba Ishmael, they ran off. 20 of them have been found yesterday hiding at a house in Harare. You can go and look at the story in the H Metro newspaper. The CCC member of council at Umzungwane has not attended 3 meetings of council, and there's going to be a by-election there. So you can go and check out, if you're in Umzungwane, you can go and contest for that election. So ZEC has published this statement. You can go and check it out. That guy has not been attending meetings. I think he went with the Blue Movement. So they've removed him. So I didn't know that if you don't attend 3 sessions, you're going to be removed. So they've removed him. And then in terms of the league, the League of Zimbabwe Soccer League, let me show you what it's looking like now. It's a FC Platinum at the top, Tier 1, Green Fuel, Chicken Inn. Only 3 matches have been played by most of the teams. And I know that there are many Highlander supporters here. The Highlanders have played 2 games with 4 points, and Dynamos, where is Dynamos? Number 2 points, 2 games with 1 point. And Anayada Kuzasuku. So at the top is the companies which are over there, and it's looking quite nice. The guys are quite organized. But if you follow the local press, you'll be able to see what is happening. Then, as I said, I'll be back tonight, and I want to give you an analysis of the results of Empower Bank. Empower Bank is the bank that is supposed to bring up young people. And when it opened, I spoke about this bank. They've made a loss of 11 billion. So I'm going to take you through what they did wrong. And as I said, we need people that can analyze. So myself, in my whole life of Zimbabwe, you never see me seeking political office, ever. That will never happen. I don't want to be a politician. But what we want to build, and what I want to encourage you guys to build, is specialists. Zimbabweans are so educated. I want us to have a strong media. I want us to have a strong financial services sector, strong tourism sector, structures and systems. And we need people that are able to stand up and speak out, and people who are able to bring our country to a level where we are world class. Zimbabwe has got so many people that have been all over the world. And to think that Mnangagwa thinks kuti vanhu vese vari muZimbabwe, they are not capable, and only the 5 people in his house are capable, and then everyone in ZANU-PF agrees to that. That is crazy. That's why vanhu veZANU vachitambara nekugadzira zvinhu izvi, because you think kuti muZimbabwe hamuna vanhu. That is the problem with ZANU. ZANU guys are missing the point. You can't have a situation like what we're having in Zimbabwe now, when you've got everything at your disposal and they're failing to make it work. So we need this to work. We need to address this situation. And I hope that these changes in the military will signal something. And the statement by General Auxillia Mnangagwa, where he said we need to look at the interests of the people. So he made a political statement. I'm always very interested when a general makes a political statement. So let's see what is going to happen very, very soon. And I hope that the ZANU-PF guys address this situation, because we don't hope for a solution anywhere else. We want a solution to this current problem that we have right now in Zimbabwe. And everyone must participate. Guys, varume vese munotadza kuparticipate panyaya. Say, I don't understand Zimbabwean men. Let's stand up against this whole weak thing that is happening in Zimbabwe, where our people are going through so much and they're failing to eat a simple meal. Our guys don't have a house or a car. This is terrible. And Mthuli, they're still sweating, talking about tax. What tax? Then Mkoma Beni, let's go to the comments. Mkoma Beni says, what Mnangagwa is doing is not sustainable. Yes, these are the last 30 days of Mnangagwa. And I am confident that something is going to happen very, very soon. And then Mkoma Ray saying, Mkoma Gabago, it is just an improvement in the military, or all change in the military are not a reaction to fear. Let's watch and see. Because remember, the economy has collapsed. When I say the economy has collapsed, I mean nothing's functional in Zimbabwe right now. And I'm giving the whole thing 30 days. Next week's announcement by Mshayavan and Mangundgya is going to be critical. Let's see what they're going to announce. If they ban the reserve, the Zimbabwe dollar, and they fire Mthuli and they fire Kuda, maybe there's hope. But if you don't see those two things that I just explained now, then nothing's going to work. It's going to be worse. And they must ban Auxillia from attending Central Committee and all that. And then Nora watching me from South Africa, Jamestown, yes, I was over there some few days ago. And then Mkuma Kuda says, good morning, Gambakwe. May you please explain if you understand. Since it's being said that the minerals are being sold in illicit markets, does that money feed into the system? If so, why doesn't it? It doesn't feed into the system. So let me explain to you why the money doesn't feed into the system. Last week, there was a rush to mine chrome. So if you look at what has happened last week, there was a rush to mine chrome. What they do is they come with trucks and they take the soil and they drive out of the country with the soil. So the soil has got no value. It's almost as Urutora's sand. And they take it outside the country and never comes back. And the people that are taking it are not government of Zimbabwe people. Mnangagwa doesn't know what's happening. It's got poor systems, poor controls. It doesn't know what's happening at the borders. So when they take these trucks and trucks of soil, and when I say they, I mean the Chinese guys, what other guys who are there, they take this soil and they process it in a place like South Africa. And then they take whatever pure material that they have and they take it overseas. You never see it again. So it's the failure to control external players in the marketing and extraction of minerals. They've got no solution. These guys come and dig up and they go. And Zimbabwe has got certain minerals that are needed for AI, which are not being properly managed. And Mnangagwa is busy digging little holes for gold. And then Scott, dig up longer. Those little gold, they don't know that Zimbabwe is sitting on extreme wealth, and they don't understand how to manage it because the people that are appointing are not capable and they're not qualified. So you can't have a minister of finance who has never started anything, who has never worked at the World Bank, who has never sat in a PhD class. So these people that I'm talking about, they do not know. It's like the people that I always complain about, that you are put in such key positions in the government, they do not understand how to make things work, including people in Mnangagwa's office. They don't know what's going on. They do not know how to advise Mnangagwa. Kuti, President, this is what should be done. Kanatiti strategy, what does strategy mean? Kanatiti national system, what does it mean? They don't know. Kuti tikabvunza kuti President Mnangagwa's office inoziva here kuti who are the top 100 Zimbabwean CEOs worldwide? So I ask that question now. Does Mnangagwa know the top 100 CEOs who came from Zimbabwe, who are all over the world? He doesn't know. They don't have data. We tried to assist them with data here in South Africa about 10 years ago. I went to the Zimbabwe embassy and there were electricians here who were trying to assist with the situation at ZESA. These guys do not have a list, and they've got what we call poor intelligence. So poor intelligence means munhu anoziva zvinhu zvisingabatsiri. Like that is what Mnangagwa's government is like. They know useless things. Like they know kuti Gambakwe ari kufamba papi, Gambakwe mbudzi dzake ingani, and all that. That's what they know. Tikavabvunza kuti what are the national assets of Zimbabwe? How much tax are Zimbabweans in South Africa paying? They don't know. An average family in South Africa, Zimbabwe, spends almost 25,000 rands or $1,000 on tax a month. What is the implication on Zimbabwe? What is your diaspora tax strategy? They don't know. Their decisions are based on emotion and political expedience. They don't understand. And when they see Gambakwe speaking, they think Kuti is being political. They don't know Kuti. Those are the solutions that you're looking for in Zimbabwe. And I am not even an economist. I'm a business leader, MBL. I've got master in business leadership. There are people in this country, in South Africa, from Zimbabwe, that are skilled and experienced. If you go to LinkedIn, United States, UK, New Zealand, Australia, the best people that you can find are coming from Zimbabwe. And Mnangagwa thinks Mbamake, Kuda, Junior, Auxillia, ndo vanhu varipo vanokwanisa kurana the government of Zimbabwe tiitebo. And that is the problem that we have. And these guys don't understand. Kuti kana tichiti usafambe nemunhu akanzi akauraya munhu, what does that mean? Uri president. Those are the kind of things that I always tell these guys, kuti, you cannot solve it in a small way. You have to overhaul the whole system. And you have to be fearless when you do it. And Chamisa is a very big part of what I'm saying when I'm saying you have to be fearless. You have to be very, very fearless, and you should be willing to take it to a next level. Like new president Akapinda, he took it to the next level. He was in jail for how many days? Our guys are not willing to go to that level, and we need that level to go where we're going. So Mkama Beni saying new Arab chief is related to ED. ED is now surrounded by his relatives. 90% of cabinet are his friends and relatives. So that's why I'm saying the military guys are now on top of this situation. That's what I believe. But if you see Mthuli Ncube staying, if you see Kuda staying next week, then you should know that ED is much stronger than you think, and a more dramatic solution will have to come. Then I want to look at Mkoma MS, the last statement that I'm going to look at. So Mkoma MS. Chiwenga is a renowned dunderhead whose PhD thesis was done by Professor Jonathan Moyo. The guy can barely read English. He can speak proper English without reading from somewhere. Right. So as I said, I don't think Chiwenga is in charge of the current process. Right. That's my thinking. I think Chiwenga is not going to be the next guy who takes over. I don't think he is, in terms of what is happening now. So let me explain to you what I think is happening. So ED is very unpopular. Chiwenga is going to be taken out if he's not careful by the ED team. They don't want him to ever smell the presidency. So the thing that you're going to see is what I call the third force. And that third force, I've been talking about it for a very, very long time. It is a mixture of opposition people, military people. But what we lack right now is a public face. So if you look at the guys in the military, they lack a public profile. The only person who's got a public profile there is Valerio, and probably a little bit of Sanyatwe. They've got a bit of public profile. But the military guys that you saw during the coup, they all had a public profile. Now you don't have someone with a public profile or who is able to command everyone to say, let's go in this direction. So he might end up, if someone wants to start something, it might end up being neutralized by someone else. And then you've got a total mess. That is what is going to be happening. So I don't believe Guti Chiwenga is the problem or Chiwenga is the solution. I believe that Chiwenga understands the issues, but I don't know if he understands what needs to be done to address this issue. Because the issue that we have is now a life and death situation for people. People are suffering to the extent that, as I said, people are going to bed without eating, and the currency has collapsed. The salaries of civil servants is gotten to a point where it makes no sense. Their contributions for medical aid are now more than their salary. This is how bad the situation became this week. They had to contribute from their personal bank accounts to their own medical aid because their salary was not enough. And I hope that you guys understand what it means. And when I talk about civil servants, all of them, they had to introduce a new allowance in US dollars because the Zimbabwe dollar salary is not buying anything anymore. So you have to understand how critical this situation is. And it's not, this is not politicking or fear mongering, but the Mnangagwa government cannot last another 30 days. And anyway, let me wrap this up. What time is it now? It's 5:45. I should have been in my gym by 5:30 already. So let's play that military, new military appointment that happened yesterday. Before I go, let's look at the Zim Peppers chair. She is the Mrs. Banda there. Right, this is Zim Peppers group chair person, Mrs. Vanda. I just wanted you guys to know who is running Zim Peppers. The guys at Zim Peppers, I used to not understand them, but now I understand them a bit. They are trying their best under the current circumstances, and a strong media is going to be very, very critical in Zimbabwe going forward. We need a strong media in Zimbabwe. So let me go to. I'm laughing at something, guys, but I don't want to show you. It's something very crazy, and I almost thought when I saw someone make a comment about sweating. Mthuli kuti kusweta kwa Mthuli. I don't know who made that comment because I talk too much and I end up not addressing that comment. Kuti, why is Mthuli sweating? And these are serious health issues. If you see someone sweating, and if you're a guy and you find yourself with every morning urukumuka and it means kuti pane zviri kunetsa, and yeah, maybe we have to deal with it another day. But with these guys that are leading us, they're just not leading us in the right direction. Let's look at that appointment. There was an appointment of a new commander of the Mechanized Brigade. Themba Bvunzai Mlambo was replaced by General Josphat Kadumba. And as I said, we are in the middle of a major change. The current situation in Zimbabwe is not sustainable, and the solutions that are being brought by Mnangagwa are not the right solutions. That's not what we want. That's not what we need. And ED must be emphatically told that a real solution is required. How many years have I been talking about the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe? Like, if you look back, I started talking about the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe in 2019. That is the first video I made about the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And a whole president does not know what needs to be done at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And why? Because these guys are in the cartels. That is the problem that we have. The cartels are a problem, and the cartels need to stop. We need a change over there, and the solution is required as soon as possible. So let's look at the military changes, and then I'll say goodbye.
Undertook community assistance project in the tactical area of responsibility in tandem with the Zimbabwe National Army's secondary role of providing military assistance to civil communities. Such activities remain crucial in cementing the already existing cordial relations between the brigade and its surrounding communities.
Commander Zimbabwe National Army, sir, once again, I want to thank you most sincerely for affording me this prestigious chance to command Mechanized Brigade. I will not betray your trust and promise to perform to the best of my abilities at all times.
The people of Zimbabwe have high hopes and expectations for a better future, and as the Zimbabwe National Army, we should ensure that the conducive and the tranquil environment prevails.
Right, so I think we've addressed this. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention. And if you're traveling, travel safe. Don't travel at night in Zimbabwe. You'll get killed. Those roads are very, very dangerous. And we'll see you again tonight. I'll be giving you a review of the Empower Bank financial statement. Thank you very much and a good day.